How
say
nice
what you
is it
want for
to have?
Mario's faults. An offensive line is not something you're going to have to worry about with Mario Cristobal. I mean, year one, you can only fix so much in one off season, and that's to be expected. But going forward, that line has increased in effectiveness exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, how nice is it to go out there and see a QB that's calm? I mean, he threw that pick, and if it was the guy from last year, there would have been 2 or 3 more interceptions. But he threw that pick, and they score. What does he do immediately? Comes out, scores a touchdown. Florida scores on a 71-yard touchdown. Don't worry, I got you. Right before we go to half, touchdown to Restrepo, drive down the field. Cool, calm, collected. Just you can tell he's been here before. People wanted to talk about, oh, he's never played like in the swamp. I mean, he just said it. Oregon and Washington were louder. They were louder. He's been in this situation. In the Apple Cup last year, he had no one, no talent around him, no O-line. He's running for his life. He still threw for over 350 yards. Played like an animal. He did to 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, 26 of 35. Elite performance. And everyone's saying it for good reason. If he keeps this type of shit up, he could be in New York. I don't know if he'll win the Heisman. Probably not, but he could be in New York at the end of this season.
I think he'll have. I think he'll have numbers worthy. Which this is something we didn't cover, and I actually looked this up. Even if he matches what he did at Washington State last year, you realize that would put him top 5 single season all time at Miami. Because right now,
Slim,
number 5 is Ja'Cory Harris with 3,300 yards.
Hey, Slim, DJ Pickett just reacted to Miami's win over Florida, and he said, all I can say is they proved to me everything I needed to see. That's all. Maybe LSU was.
I told you LSU is just keeping him warm for us.
That's funny. It's like Kyle says. Kyle says here too. The man literally pranced off the sidelines after running, the 20-yard.
Yeah,
I mean that was awesome. He just kind of slowed down. I wanted to see him start like skipping, like the next time, like it's a little skip, and turn around.
What was so great is after he threw that insane touchdown to Jacoby George in the back of the end zone, which Jacoby George, I love him so much. That taunting. Also, shout out to the refs for letting it happen, letting the boys have fun in the end zone, making fun of that stupid ass Gator chomp, trolling the Gator fans. But you saw, like ESPN showed the replay when he walked off the field, he just goes straight on the side and everyone's mobbing until they love him, that he's a leader, and he's just over there still just like, yeah, this is what I do. Last year we had a guy that it was like, oh, he's showing no emotion, but like. This is what we mean when it's like a guy that doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Like he just like he knows what he can do and he goes out there and he does it.
And see, I was in a Twitter space last night with, an Oregon fan, a couple Tennessee fans, a Texas fan. There was a pretty good mix of us in there. And, we were just watching the game, shooting the shit last night.
Was Bystar in there?
He was not, thankfully.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, and he wouldn't have been either because he'd have got kicked out of there. But, we were sitting there, like me and the Oregon fan were sitting there commenting back and forth. Actually, more than Tennessee fans. They can see, like, they said it's almost amazing that we went 7-5 last year with them watching Tyler Van Dyke's performance in that Wisconsin game.
Yeah, I mean, he had one right at halftime. He didn't throw any picks, but he literally almost threw like 3 interceptions. And the one that was especially bad was the one right before halftime, where it was the same shit we saw last year. Clean pocket, no pressure, and he just makes an awful read. Awful.
Yeah.
And
the only one I'll forgive is that one where his receiver slipped and fell down after he threw the ball.
I rewatched that one.
And so did I.
His receiver didn't slip. It was the DB that slipped.
No, that was his receiver. Go back and watch it again. I promise you. Me and Foles.
Maybe we're thinking.
Maybe we're
talking about.
What about that interception tonight? Who was it? Was it Harris? Was it Jaden Harris that got it? Where he was just basically lying on his back.
On his ass.
He just like laying.
Dude, I mean that right there.
he still made a great adjustment because he's on the ground and he still turns his body and is able to extend his arms out and corral the football. So it's not like it literally just fell on him. He still had to adjust
Well,
while being
that
on
is
the
a
ground.
perfect example of not only an old saying, but something I think, and I've brought up lots of times, is key in football. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. There is a lot of luck for a team to go undefeated and win a national title. Crap like that has to happen in key moments.
How about 2001 Miami playing Boston College? Ball deflects in the air. Matt Walters ends up with it. Ed Reed rips it out of his hands and he runs it back for a touchdown.
Well, and that's like the one that's gotten famous that everybody quotes, but we only beat Virginia Tech by like 3 or 7. Like, we just squeaked out of that Virginia Tech game that year. That was a close game. Now, it did help that Michael Vick went down in that game. That did help.
He wasn't there that year. He wasn't there that year. He had left the year before because that was his rookie year in the NFL. He wasn't even there. Yeah, we beat Virginia Tech 26-24 in Lane Stadium.
Told you. I mean, that was a nail biter. I remember it sitting. I wasn't even sitting on the couch because I was still, I was getting ready to go to high school, but I was almost like a little kid, like 6 inches in front of the TV on Saturday morning cartoons because that was just that tight of a game. It was.
How old were you in 2001?
Oh, let's see. I would have been in 7th grade. I would have been 13.
All right,
Yeah,
screw y'all. Let's not talk about how old we were in 2001. I don't want to have that conversation with you guys.
Brendan, I wasn't even a little sperm wiggling around.
Let's not even talk about that. No, let's not even talk. 2001. God, I'd already been to college. I'd already been to. Yeah.
Did you have frosted tips?
Hey, in 2001, he was on his 3rd marriage.
I already found my 4th ex-wife by then. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I think we all knew when Mario got here, this was going to be like a complete rebuild. Even though, like we had talent coming back after that 2021 season. We didn't expect to go 5-7, but that was just a whole crazy year anyway with all the injuries and everything going on.
Yeah. You get struck with the injury bug and it happens, yeah.
I mean, dude, in that FSU game, we were starting 3rd stringers, basically. Like that team was ravaged by injuries. But now you see the talent that's brought in. With Mario, you bring in a Damian Martinez. You bring in a Jordan Lyle, who you flip him from Ohio State. A year after, you flip Mark Fletcher from Ohio State. Like, under previous coaches, we weren't flipping guys from Ohio State. That wasn't a thing. You bring in a 5-star defensive lineman in Justin Scott. You bring in a Alston. You bring in Tyler Barron, which Tyler Barron, when Ruben Bain went out, was fucking awesome today. That D-line ate. That D-line was as advertised. You lose a Ruben Bain and you still go out there and play as you did. That is insane. I mean,
yeah, and I do hope Bain's okay, but I think he will be.
Yeah,
I've read it.
Well, somebody put it in there earlier. Mario said it was just a soft tissue injury, week or 2. Now this is something I wanted to mention too. Novice Gamer touched on it and reminded me. Thank you, sir. How about Mario cleaning up the penalties?
Mm-hmm.
We averaged 9 penalties a game last year, and in a emotional rivalry game, you have 2.
Yeah. At the swamp where it was supposed to be so loud that we wouldn't be able to deal with it, and the humidity.
No false starts, no procedural penalties.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that can't be. One was a PI. I remember that. It was PI on a deep ball.
And it was a weak PI. I'm sorry. That was bullshit. But
well, now, and like every game that's ever been played or will be played, I don't know how they didn't call roughing the passer when Mertz got knocked out of the game. How they got away with that, I don't know. But
I saw it replay. I was like, dude, fuck.
They got away with one. They got away with one. But listen, that's just that. That's the game. That is the game. There are good calls and bad calls built into every game that has ever been played or ever will be played.
Yeah, but I think you also saw very clearly the difference in culture because you had Miami with their 2 penalties and very disciplined play, and then you had Florida, busted coverages, multiple roughing the passer penalties, one of which was awful because Cam Ward had let go of the ball for like 5 seconds. He's just standing there and the safety's coming in on the blitz and just blaze him out. Just stupid penalties that extended Miami. The first touchdown drive would have ended in a field goal if it had not been for stupid-ass Florida linebacker roughing Cam Ward. Now, did he kill him or anything?
Yeah,
No,
and then when we went up 17 too, same thing. Roughing the passer penalty extended that drive that should have stalled out. And listen, we talk about things that need to be cleaned up. You're not always going to get that from every team. Florida was, and that's been the knock on Florida. They're an undercoached, undisciplined football team, and that's what you can get from them. But not every team is going to save you that way.